Okay, so this is going to be a slightly different video, and this is more of a one-off unless you want to see more videos like this. If I see enough interaction, enough comments, maybe I'll keep posting, smaller updates if people are interested. But I was thinking about it because obviously I left Russia today. I'm now in Estonia, and I was thinking about it last night. You know, um, what are the effects of having a long distance relationship, and how does it affect different people? How do people cope and manage through the times that you're not together? And while I know a lot of people that watch this channel, watch it for different things. You watch it because maybe you're in a similar situation and you want to know the information, and that's fine, not a problem. Maybe you just want to just see my journey and how I get along with that. Again, fine, not a problem. Or maybe maybe it doesn't relate to you. Maybe you just enjoy watching these kind of videos, and that's also cool, you know. But maybe there's some people out there that, okay, maybe your partner isn't in Russia, maybe your partner's in a different country, whether it be America or parts of Europe, but maybe you're also in a long distance relationship, and how do you deal with that? Basically, what I'll say, I'll just have a brief overview because I picked up a few subscribers along the way, and some people might not have watched older videos, so I'll quickly just go over this. But we started talking, me and Yulia, we started talking back in 2020. Okay, we met through a mobile game when the whole world shut down in 2019, and we met in 2020. And when I say we met, I mean we just communicated. It was just, how's work, how's your day, how's things, and then we may not communicate for months at a time, and that's just kind of how it went for a couple of years. And it wasn't until about 2022, beginning of April 2022, where we started to talk more, and we started to kind of communicate more and talk a bit more outside of the game. And it was about July 2022 when we kind of both sat down and were like, okay, let's see if this relationship could work. Because ultimately, while the communication is great, it's like there's, we both kind of was like, is this what you want? Is this what we're going to do? Are we going to try this? Is how will this work? So we just thought, well, why not give it a go? So we did. And one thing I will say is, because I got a lot of people, a lot of friends that said to me, how do you know you can trust someone that you've never met and you're not with? And I don't have an answer for that. You just kind of have to. You just have to trust them the same way that they have to trust you. It works both ways. It's not just you have to trust them, they've also got to trust you as well. So and that's difficult, especially when you've never met them before, because while talking through communicating every day through messages, phone calls, is fantastic. It's a great way to build up the foundations for a relationship. You still never truly know someone until you've actually met them. So you've just got to trust them. You've just got to trust it, and you've got to feel it in yourself. And I guess you'll know if it's right. And if you're feeling every day, I don't know. Maybe sit down and talk to your partner. And maybe that relationship just isn't right for you. You just gotta trust. You just gotta do it the same way they've got to do it. And how do we cope after meeting and then going months at a time without not meeting? Well, it's difficult, but these are things you just got to accept. I was always one of these people that were like, long distance relationships are stupid. Why would anyone have one? And then it happened to me. um, and it just happens, you know. You don't. It's not one of these things you just kind of look for, or they just happen, and you just kind of gotta go with it and just accept it for what it is. And you know, the times are difficult when, you know, you think you've been talking for years, and then you meet and then you meet them, and then you're there for like 6 days, and then you go away again, and you know, you're thinking, well now what, you know. Yeah, you meet again. Like, we met in Turkey in 2023 April, and then we met again in July in Armenia. Okay. But obviously, while it's great to see a partner, you can't, that kind of relationship in itself isn't going to work if you just meet in random countries. You've got to have a goal. You've got to keep pushing forward, and not just going, okay, well, let's meet again in 6 months in this country, or, you know, you've got to both have this clear path of what you want in your relationship. And you know, we both knew and understood that while it was going to be difficult, it was something we both wanted. And that's important, because if you know, if one or the other is a little bit unsure, again, it's not going to work. So you have to both be sure 100%, because it's a big commitment. A relationship in general is a big commitment, but a relationship with someone that's in a completely different country with a completely different language, just, yeah, massive commitment. You know, if your long distance relationship is, you know, you both speak the same language, so America, or, you know, then you don't, you know, it's a little bit easier for you, because, you know, you don't need to spend years and years learning a different language. And this isn't a feel sorry for me, not at all. I'm just saying how it is. Because you've also, when you're building that relationship, you've also got to discuss with each other what country it is you're going to live in. You know, is it going to be your country? Is it going to be their country? And if it's their country, you're going to need to visit that country, because you don't want to just move to a country that you've never been to and you don't know if you're going to like. So these kind of relationships take a long time. Like, you know, we were together at the beginning of 2022, okay, and it's nearly the end of 2024, and we're still not living together, you know, and we understand this is going to take another year at least, because, you know, while I have been to Russia several times, you know, and, you know, learning the language is one thing, you know, that's difficult in itself, because you've got to find that time. You know, it's not a case of, oh, that's okay, I'll just go to lessons and I'll learn it in like 6 months. I mean, if you could do that, then that's fantastic, and I wish I could do that, and hats off to you. But for people like me that have a lot of things going on in life, can't dedicate that kind of time to learning a language. And if you follow this channel, you'll know that I have made some progress, just not enough. Like, I could have the most simple conversation, and I know several words, and you know, and that helps me a lot, but I couldn't take the test to move to that country. So you've got to have that patience. You've got to have an understanding that it's not just a simple case of, well, I'm just going to move here, and then we're going to set this date, and then we're going to live happily ever after. Because there are so many different. I mean, this is for, you know, and it's different for every country. You know, whether it be you're going to America, or whether you're going to England or somewhere in Europe, you know, it's going to be different, and there are going to be different things that you need to do to meet the requirements to be in that country. You know, and as I said, you've got to also, if you've made a choice to go to, so if you yourself are leaving to go to their country, you've got to visit that country, and you've got to be 100% in yourself that is the country you're happy to live in, because if you're not happy, that will affect your relationship, because while you can put it off and be like, oh, it's fine, after a while that's going to come through, and that's going to ruin your relationship. And yeah, so make sure you're honest as well. Even if your partner, I'm not saying my partner doesn't want to come to England, because she does, but this was just a decision we both made, that because of the way things are, like she already has an apartment out there, she has her own business out there. I can just get a job any in I wouldn't say in any restaurant, but there'd be a lot more for her to do to set up her business here in England and things like that. So we both agreed and understood that it would be more beneficial for me to move to Russia. And you're probably thinking, but surely she knows English better than you know Russian, but better than I know Russian. And yeah, she does. But that's not the point. It's not about who knows the language, who knows what language the best. It's about how your relationship and how your life will be better in each country. Okay, so once you've decided that, you've then got to spend time in that country, because that's the country ultimately you're going to live in. Okay, see, like I say, you need to be 100% that you're happy in that country. Okay, now for a second, forget about the language or whatever it is that you're worried about. Just be in the country. How do you feel? Do you like the food? Is the culture good? Are the people good? Do you like the area that you're living in? Could you see yourself there? And once you've said yes to all those things, then think, okay, don't put a time on when you're gonna think you're gonna master the language. Don't just don't. I did that, and I misunderstood how difficult it was actually going to be. I thought after a few lessons on Duolingo, I thought, oh, that'll be fine, not a problem. No, don't. Do not give yourself a time limit on when you're going to master the language, because in reality, you're probably never going to master it. Yeah, you'll understand it, and yeah, you'll be able to speak it, but you'll never be that you'll never be 100% fluent in that language. So don't put too much stress on yourself about the things like that. But you've just got to have that trust, you've got to have that patience, and you've got to have that understanding that it's gonna take time. Don't just think that you found someone online, you met, and then you're gonna live happily ever after next year or whatever. Things take time, okay? And every person is different. Everyone has different circumstances. I'm fortunate enough where I can visit often, okay? I'll just tell you now, a flight back and forth from London to Tallinn and and back is about about 20-30 pounds, and I don't need to bring any luggage, because I made sure to bring all of that on my first trip, because we knew that obviously I was going to be moving, so we were more than comfortable with me bringing a load of stuff over on the first trip, leaving it there, and then you're not then spending 50, 60, £100 on luggage every time you move in, every time you travel over, because you don't need to do that, because it's all there. So obviously depending on the country that you're going to, tickets will be more expensive, but I'm just telling you from my experience from England to Russia that it's about £30. That's it. It's so cheap. Yes, okay, you need to get your visa. Yeah, that is expensive, and I won't lie. But these are things that you just got to accept. They're just part of your life now, and you've got to accept that. And to be honest, it's down to you as well. Like I can tell you my experience, but like I say, every individual is different, and every relationship is different, and everyone's needs are different. I can just tell you how it is for me and what it was like for me, and if I'm making it sound like it was really easy, like it's not, because again, you're spending a lot of time in the beginning stage where you're not really together. Like, well, you are, but you're not, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, you'd be talking every day, and there'll be phone calls and there'll be video calls, and it'll be great, but you're not. You know what I mean? You need to get to that point where you know what you want, and you're happy to be in the country that you've chosen. And if you're able to visit often, fantastic. If not, it's not the end of the world, because obviously that's between you and a partner. Maybe you're in a situation where it's cheap, it's cheap for your partner to come and see you. Maybe you can visit each other's countries. Obviously, my girlfriend does plan to come to England, and that was definitely going to happen. But you need to keep in mind, for me, my tickets are about £30. Her tickets are going to be at least £300-400, maybe even more, and that's without all the visas and everything like that. So it just makes sense. Why spend so much money when I could just spend £30, get on a plane, and then cross the border? It's really, and I'm talking about, this is for me. Obviously, not everyone watching this channel is going to have a partner or be in a situation where your partner is in Russia. Maybe it's a different country. I'm just telling you my experiences and my thoughts. And maybe if you want to share your stories down below, I will read every single one and I will reply to every single one. If you want to hear more information about visas and travel from England to Russia, if I get enough comments about that, I will make a video about that. If there's anything else you want to know, please write me a comment and I will do my best to get back to you. Anyway, I hope this has helped some people out there, and if it has, let me know. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.